All right, this is just going to be a quick conversation about your vascular health, just a man-to-man kind of conversation. This is just a piece of tubing. You can find it in your house. You can find it in your car. It's normally carrying a liquid from one location in the house to another or in your car. And inside the human body, you have veins just like this, right? So the aorta runs up and down the center line of the body, and it too is carrying a fluid, although it's carrying blood. And what's inside the blood is oxygen from taking a breath of air. And so that gets put into that blood. And then also in what you eat. So whatever you eat, it gets broken down in the gut, and then it gets put into the bloodstream and carried. Okay, so when I talked about it, about going from one location to another location, your body has about 37 trillion cells that blood runs through your arteries and supplies those 37 trillion cells of nutrients and oxygen. All right? It must arrive in all locations. Okay? All 37 trillion cells has got to get it. So if it's not getting to a particular part of the body, like let's say your thyroid, or it's not getting to your head, or something like that, then you're going to have problems. All right, that's just basically the name of the game here. And the reason that I'm doing this whole demonstration is because I hear a lot of terminology inside the vascular world, and quite honestly, I kind of laugh at it because it's a bunch of Latin words and big long words and things like that, and I think it confuses people, and it's not any kind of a confusion. All right, and so here's I've got this little thing. I got a little orange piece of tape on the inside there, and I just want to demonstrate something visual so that you get the concept in your head. All right, and so when they talk about clogged pipes or artery plaque or calcification of the arteries or hardening of the arteries, or they talk about thrombosis, they talk about all kinds of various different things, right? Just man to man, it's simple, all right? So if there's a clog in there and it's on the way to the head, then they call that a stroke, all right? Because it's cutting off the blood flow up into the head. And so then that area doesn't get oxygen and it dies, right? And so if this is on the way to the heart, it's called a heart attack. Even though this may have occurred way down below it, right? But because what died on the downstream part, that's what they call it. So it's a heart attack, even though it might not have happened in the heart, right? And so if it is on the way to the hot dog, the male hot dog, and well, they call that an erectile malfunction. Well, I call it a malfunction. They call it dysfunction or something or other. It's a malfunction, all right? And so that has to do with that part of it. Now, when I said hardening of the arteries, there's a difference between clogging and a hardening. A hardening has to do with and I know you can't quite see it, but you can get the idea here. The wall of the artery, okay? The wall of the artery gets calcification. Calcification is just basically calcium, if you think about it. Stucco has calcium in it, and it's what hardens. All right, so it's literally inside the wall of that artery is what's becoming clogged, and that's what gives guys a hard time, a soft time with erectile malfunction. In other words, it's not able to expand and contract. The vein itself is not able to expand and contract. So I just wanted to give you that illustration because half of the people who have heart attacks or strokes have warning signs such as chest pains and difficulty breathing, numbness or tingling or sensation somewhere. Why? Because the downstream effect of this is that it's not getting oxygen and nutrients. All right? And so if it's not getting oxygen and nutrients, you're going, let's just say it's running across my shoulder here. And so if it's not getting blood flow there, then it's going to have a numbness because it's not getting oxygen. All right? And so the other half of the people who have a heart attack or a stroke have no warning. Okay? So they just drop dead. 1 minute, everything is good, and the next one, boom, they just hit the ground. The mainstream educates us about risk factors that we should be aware of, like cholesterol levels and obesity and smoking and diabetes. In other words, they're looking at risk factors. They're not looking at dead-on cause and effect. They're not looking at the clog. They're looking at what could potentially be causing this. But get this. In half of all heart attacks, they have none of those risk factors. Okay? So are they truly risk factors? In other words, the mainstream have been guessing for 70 years, and the statistics haven't changed. All right, so it was back when Eisenhower had a heart attack that they started this whole idea, and then they've kept pushing this same idea, yet it's changed no statistics, not even Eisenhower's. Now, I'm ex-Navy Spec Ops. I don't like guessing. If you also don't like guessing and want to know the real cause of the clogged pipes, click down below and join me on a webinar this coming week. This isn't about some fruit juice or powder or any of that crap. I'm almost certain you've never heard about what I'll be talking about.